Hello everyone, good evening. I welcome you all to the C++ session organized by Engineers Gurukul. Okay, so probably today will be the last lecture of our syllabus and we have to cover the complete topics. We'll be covering complete topics by today itself, right? So not wasting one more second even, I'll be starting with the next topic and the topic which we need to cover. See, we are already done with files and streams yesterday. So if you were not able to pay attention because of your own uh, busy schedule, please look into the videos and uh, ask if you have any kind of doubt in that. Okay, so the topic which we are going to do today is template, right? Now, anybody having an idea what is template? Okay, so let's take an example. Let's take an example. Now, what do you mean by template? See, template is okay. To understand templates, let's take a simple layman example. See, everyone, we always go to bank, right? Now, when we go to bank to debit some amount from the bank, we use a form. If you have ever visited a bank to debit a particular amount from your account, we use a form, right? Now, that form is having a format, yes or no? That form is having a format. It is having a proper format that we have to fill up the bank detail account number, we have to fill up the amount, we have to fill up the amount in numbers and then in numerals. We need to sign, we need to fill up the branch name, we need to fill up the date, right? So there's a form, exact form, and that exact form is having a proper format. Now that form is filled by every person irrespective of gender, irrespective of caste, and irrespective of age, right? So if anybody, female or male, goes to bank to debit some amount from his account, he or she has to fill that form. So that form is a unique template. That form is a unique example by which I can say that everyone has to follow some rules. So that form is actually a template. Is it clear to all what is a template in layman language? Yes. So it's basically a format in which we follow or we make something happen. If I want to withdraw 5,000, I have to fill that form. If I want to withdraw 50,000, I have to fill the same form. So irrespective of amount I want to withdraw, I will just fill that form and withdraw my money accordingly. So the form filling or the format of the form does not depend upon the amount which you want to debit. Okay, so that is called as template in a layman general real life example. Okay. Now, if I talk about in C++, the keyword template is used to define function template and class template. See, basically we have two types of templates. One is called as function template and the other is called as class template. If you can see this, a C++ template is a powerful feature added to C++. It allows you to define the generic classes and generic functions and thus provides support for generic programming. Now, what do you mean by generic? By the word generic, I mean generalized. As I said that the form which we fill to withdraw a money is irrespective of whether we look into gender or whether we look into age or whether we look into caste. So that form has to be filled by a person who wants to withdraw money and there is no parameter of gender, age and caste over in filling that form. So it is a generalized form to withdraw the money. Similarly, in case of C++, there is a generalized class to perform something. There is a generalized function to perform something. irrespective of the data type we want to add or data type the function takes in. Now, when we'll be doing example, it will be more clear to you, right? So thus it supports generic programming, right? Next is generic programming is a technique where generic types are used as parameters in algorithm so that they can work for a variety of data types. Now see, if I say that I am going to create a function which take integer parameter, right? So to that function, can I pass float parameter? No, because if I have said that the data type of that function will be integer, I have to pass a integer number to that function. I cannot pass a float number to that function. If I pass the float number, it will give me error, right? So if I want that there should be one single function which works for multiple data types, variety of data types. In that case, what will I do? I will create a generic function. Okay. Similarly, if I want to perform any operation on different types of classes, in that case, I have to create a generalized class. Now let's see one example and understand. Okay. Now before looking into the example, there are basically two types of templates. One is called as function templates and the other is called as class templates. Now, first of all, let's see function templates. Now, we can define a function. We can define a template for a function. For example, if we have an add function, we can create versions of the add function for adding the int, float, or double values. Right? I believe that we should not go by the theory. Let's do some practical and then it will be more clear to you. Okay. So I am having a project. Let's open up a project. Or let's, instead of opening it up, let's create a new project. Cool. So I take, say, templates. So I have a template with me. Right. Now, let's start with the program coding of this template. Let's just remove this. I'll be using one file called as conio. Begin with my program. Now, before beginning with the program, now what I am going to do, I will be creating one function, right? So I'll say int big. The name of the function is big, and the return type of that function is integer. Now this function takes two arguments. One is a and the other is b. Okay. Now both the arguments are of which type? They are of integer type. Okay. Now what is the task of this function big? It says that if a is greater than b, then what I have to do? I have to return a, else I have to return. This is the coding of my function. Now this function, in the other words, I can say that this function big is used to find out the biggest number between two given input numbers. Okay. So I say I'm having int main, right? I say cout big 4,5. I save it, build and run. It'll take them some time. So what is this program doing? Actually, in this program, I've created one function called as big, which is used to find out the biggest number between two given input numbers. And I said this big is of which data type? It is of integer return type. It takes two arguments of int a and int b. Okay. Now, if a is greater than b, I have to return a, else I have to return b. Then I say int main, I say cout, and in the cout, I'm calling which function? Big function. And the input argument to this big function is 4, 5. So a is 4 and 5 is b. Okay. It's still executing. It will take some time. Okay. So which is the biggest number between 4 and 5? It is 5. So is it clear to all? Is it clear to all? Anybody having doubt in this program? Okay. Now this is the basic one. Okay. Now if I say cout big 5.6, 3.4. Now what will happen in this case? So if I say cout big 4, 5, obviously between 4 and 5, 5 is biggest, so it is going to return me 5, right? But then I say cout big cout big 5.6 and 3.4. Will it give me error or not? This line will give me error or not? Yes or no? No, Aniket, it will not give me error. Okay, it will give me error. Let's see. See, it will not give me error. Why it will not give me error? The reason is 5.6 and 3.4 is not a wrong number. See, for a user, though a user has entered it a decimal number, but my compiler will take it only the integer value, right? So it will ignore the values after decimal points. It will only take the values before the decimal point. So for the compiler, the input given by the user is 5 and 3. There is no value after decimal point, right? So the compiler is comparing only 5 and 3. So between 5 and 3, which is bigger, 5 is bigger, so the output is 5. And between 4 and 5, which is bigger, 5 is bigger, so the output is 5. Okay. Now in this case, since I've given my data type as input number as float, still it is taking it in the form of integer because the input arguments are in the form of integer. Yes or no? Yes or no? Right? Now, if I want that my compiler should call the function according to the input arguments. Compiler should call the function according to input arguments. In that case, what will I do? For this first statement of cout, I will create a function of integer type, right? But for the second statement of cout, what will I do? I'll create a function of which type? Double type. Double A and double B, right? I'll just simply copy the code, right? And save it, right? Now what will happen? Let's see here. It's still working. Guys, what is happening here? So according to the input given by the user, my compiler is automatically calling that function. If I say 4 and 5 for this, which function is called? Integer return type function is called. And for this 5.6 and 3.4, which function is called? This float type function is called. Yes. So it is called as operator function overloading. Yes or no? It is called as function overloading. This is called as function overloading because the same name of the function is having two different tasks. Yes or no, please? I hope everybody is available today. Nobody is watching match today. If you are, then you can please leave the session. Okay, this is called as function overloading because we are having in the program, we are having two functions, big, with same name, but different types of argument. This is integer type argument and this is double type argument. So this is called as function overloading. Sarvesh, what you are not getting into this? Can you let me know? What is the doubt in this case? Okay, let me just tell you. Okay. See, Sarvesh, if I run this program, please see here very carefully. If I run this program, what is the compiler doing? Okay, let's just change the values. I cite here 7.6. Okay. Okay. Now, if I write cout big 4 comma 5, in this case, my compiler is calling which function? Big function? Yes or no? Now input argument is 4 and 5. So A is 4 and 5, B is 5. So which is biggest? B is biggest. So this will not run. What will run? Else will run. It will return B. So 5 is there on the screen. Yes. Now when I run this command, cout big 7.63, 0.4. In this case, again, the same program runs, right? Now since I'm passing which value? Float value, 7.6. But the input argument is of which type? Integer value. So what will my compiler do? Compiler will take only the integer value of this number. Number is 7.6. So compiler will take only 7 here. Okay. Surveys automatically, it will ignore it because the input argument is of integer type. 7 is an integer, but 0.6 is a float value. Did you understood? So 7A is 7 and B is what? It is 3.4. Now from 3.4, what is the integer value? It is 3. Okay, it is 3. Now from 7 and 3, which is greater? 7 is greater, right? So it will return you 7. Any doubt in this? So Sarvesh, any doubt on this? Okay, now this is okay, right? But I say that if I want that my compiler should take input in the form of float values, that is, it should not take integer, instead it should take 7.6, right? Instead of 3, it should take 3.4 as input. In that case, my input argument should be float. Yes or no? Input argument should be float. Only then it can take this value as an input. So what will I do? I will create a function, another function. So I create another function, right? The function is big, function name is big. Its return type is double and input argument is double A and double B. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this, Sarvesh? Yes, please, Sarvesh. Okay. Now in this case, what will happen? See, I'm having, in my program, I'm having two functions with same name, big, but different type of argument. It is of integer argument and this is of double argument. This concept is called as function overloading. We have already done this. Function overloading. When in the program, there are multiple functions with same name, but different arguments. It is called as function overloading. Okay. Now what will happen? See, when my compiler will run the statement cout big 4 comma 5. Now in this case, big is having which type of input values? It is of both integer. 4 is integer. Yes. 5 is also integer. So in this case, which function will be called? My compiler will call that function of big whose input argument is integer. So which is the integer input argument? Function, this function. So it will call this function. Any doubt in this? No. Okay. Now, next version is this cout big 7.6 and 3.4. Now compiler will check that the input argument are of which type? They are of float type. They are of float type. Both are of float type. So my compiler will check that in the program, do we have any big function which take double values as an input? See, we do not write float here because float input arguments are not always taken. Instead of float, we use double. Okay. So my compiler will check that is there any big function in the program which take float values? Yes, it is there. It is there. Which is there? This one is there. So in this case, it will go to this function. Okay, it will go to this function. So in this case, A will be 7.6. B will be 3.4. And we will compare them. Which is greater? 7.6. So the output is 7.6. Any doubt, Sarvesh, now? Yes, Sarvesh, any doubt to you now? Okay. So this is called as function overloading, right? Now, if you see, for performing multiple tasks, for performing same tasks, but for different data types, we are using two functions. Yes or no? For performing same task, but different data type input, we are using two functions. So my C++ says if there is the task to be performed is same. I repeat, अगर हमें एक ही task करना है, then why we are using two different functions? If there is a difference only between the data type, then what should we do? We should use a generalized function. What will we do? Generalized function. See, in both the functions, we are doing the same task, right? We're doing same task, but both the functions are different on the basis of input arguments. This is integer, this is double. So in this case, we will use generalized function. And generalized function or generic function is also called as function template. Okay, it's also called as function template. Now, how do we create a function template? Just see here very carefully. Okay. Now, first of all, I will be declaring a template. This is by using template keyword. Template, in the bracket, I'll be writing class and X. Okay. Let me just drop this so that it's clear to all. So what I'm doing is I'm writing template class X, right? Then I say, now I'll be modifying the same function. I'll be modifying the same function. I say instead of int, I'll write here x. Okay. Instead of int, I'll write here x. Just a second. Of int, I'll write here x. Rest is same. Rest is same. So for this, I'll remove the double. I don't require it. Okay. Rest is completely same. See. Now what is the meaning of this? See, I am getting a template. It's a template. Now this template is of which type? It is of class X. It's actually a format. Predefined syntax. You have to follow the same. Right? Now what is the meaning of X here? X stands for dynamic data type. I repeat, X stands for dynamic data type. See, earlier we were mentioning the data type here. Int big is equals to int big parenthesis int a, int b, yes or no. We were mentioning the data type. But now I'm mentioning only X. Now what will happen? See, if in this case, if I run the statement, cout big 4, 5. In this case, my data type is yes or no. Please tell me what will be the data type in this case. In the first case, my data type is integer. So my compiler at runtime automatically detects the value of X. So what is the value of X here? Values of X is integer. So it will run all the function, complete function in the form of integer data type. Okay. But in this case, in the second case, the input argument is having which data type? It is float. It is float. Yes. So when I run the statement, my compiler at runtime will automatically change the value of, set the value of X as double. So the complete function will run in the form of double data type. Is it clear to all? Yes, please, Sarvesh, Aniket, everybody. Is it clear to all? Now let's run this and see the difference. See, in this case, I'm having only one function, that is template. Okay? And the data type of two bigs are different. One is integer, other is this double. Okay. Now let's see here how it runs. I save it. Build and run. Oh, it's running. Forgot name or type. Oh, I think I have to keep a semicolon here. Okay. So I run it. Okay. So you can see. In the first case, the data type of big is integer. So it is converting X as in the form of integer. In the second case, the data type of big is float. So it is converting the X in the form of float. So X, the value of X, the data type of X will automatically be taken at the runtime dynamically. Is there any doubt to anybody? Anybody having any doubt to this in this? So I hope everybody is attending the session and they're listening also. Okay. So this is called as function template. Now the other version of template is class template. Let me just close it. The other version of template is called as class template. Function templates are done. Right? This is the data type which we have used. Okay, one thing I need to tell you. That is function templates with multiple parameter. Okay, now in this case, I just want to tell you, let's suppose I have a function C out, right? I say big. My first input argument is integer, but the second input argument is double. What will happen in this case? What do you think? See, in this case, see the third version of cout. First input argument is integer, second input argument is double. So what do you think? Will this class template work for it? Will it work for it? Let's see here. Let's check it out, okay? So I say build and run. Okay, it's give me errors. Error is no matching function. You can just see here. I'm just highlighting it out. No matching function for call to big int comma double. So it is going to give me error. Yes. So what I have to do? I have to create a template which take two different data type input arguments. I repeat, I need to create a template which takes two input data type arguments. So how will I do? I'll say in the same definition, I'll say class X comma class Y, okay, and X big, since X big, and then I say XA comma YB, XA YB. Is it clear to all? I run this. I just need to put here endl so it will clear to you. Let's put here. Let's run this. Okay. So I know that between 4 and 5. Yes, Aniket, I'll explain. Between 4 and 5. See, Aniket, what I did, I said that, see, when my big function is having arguments of different type, one is integer, other is float. So for this, what will I do? I will create a template which contains two different data type. So I say class X comma class Y. Class X comma class Y, right? Now I say X big XA. That means the first argument is of which type? One type. And second argument is of which type? It is of other type, second type, right? And depending upon, I'll get the output, right? So two different types of input arguments are there. So in this 4 and 5, it's clear that the biggest number is 5. Between 7.6 and 3.4, biggest number is 7.6. Between 3 and 9.2, biggest number is 9.2. Yes, but it is giving you output as 9. Right? Now, what is the error here? Anybody who can just find it out. The biggest number is 9.2. It should give me 9.2, but it is returning me only 9. So what is the error here? It's not a compile time error, it's a runtime error. Yes. So what is my function doing? My function is returning the output in the form of which type? It is returning the output in the form of integer type. Right? It is returning me the output in the form of integer type. Why? See, before big, I've written what? X. Before big, I've written X. XA. XA. Please see here. What is A? A is 3. That means data type of 3 is integer. So X will be of which type? Integer type. Is it clear to all what I'm trying to say? Yes. But let's suppose I put here Y. I put here Y. Okay. And I run this. Now in this case, it is giving me 9.2. Why 9.2? The data type of class Y is double. Data type of class Y is double. How I can say it is double? Because 9.2, the data type of 9.2 is double. Is it clear to all? Yes, is it clear to all what I wanted to convey? So this is how you can just write it down, your program, your template, which contains multiple arguments of different type in case of function template, right? Now let's move to class template. Let's move to class template. What is class template? Just close it. So this is class template. Class template can also be defined similar to function template. When a class uses the concept of template, then the class is called as generic class. Okay. The syntax for class template is this: class T type, class name. Okay. Let's do one example, and then it will be more clear to you that what is class template. Okay. Okay, just give me a second, please. Okay, thank you for giving me time. There was an urgent work, so that's why I had to go. Okay. So, so topic which we were doing is called as class template. So let's start with an example of class template. I'll be just removing this out. Okay. Okay, so I say include iostream, include conio, and using namespace std, right? So let's now work on a class template. Now to create a class template, what I'll do, I will create, obviously use the same statement, template, right? And here I'll write class T. It's the same syntax which we have used for function template, right? Now here I create a class. Let's suppose I create a class here. Okay. And then inside this, I create public. I say T num1 is equals to 5. I'm also initializing it. As you can see, I'm also initializing the numbers along with the declaration. This is my data members. I create a function. I say cout addition num1 num1 plus num2. Okay. Right? This is my function, void function, which I am creating inside the class. Now I create my main function. A b dot add return. Okay. Yes. So this is my class, right? Now in the class, I've taken two data members, num1 and num2. Okay. Num1 and num2 are two data members. Then I say cout. I'm getting one function add. I say cout addition of num1 and num2 is num1. It's just plus num2, right? And it's ended. Now what I do, I create an object of this class. The object of this class is, the class name is A, right? The class name is A, and the object is of which type? It's of which type? Class type. Now what is the class data type? Class data type is template. It will be defined at the time of runtime. So I say the object D, the name of the object is D. The data return type of D will be integer. Did you understood the statement? Everybody. Class name is A. We are creating an object of A whose return type is of integer. Then I say d dot add, and d dot add. So this function is calling add function. So it adds num1 and num2. So the output will be 11. Is it clear to all? So I just run this, build and run. What is it? It says non-static. Output is addition of num1 and num2 is 11. Okay. Now let's see if I pass here number 1 as 5.5 and I say num2 as 6.7. Okay. Num1 is 5.5, num2 is 6.7, and the object data type is integer. Data type of object is integer, right? So let's see how it works. Yes, so the output is 11, still again. 11. Why it's 11? Because see, since the object is of integer, so num1 will be taken as 5, right? Num2 will be taken as 6, and 5 plus 6 is 11. Any doubt to anybody in this case? Right? But if I write here, let's see. If I write here, instead of int, I write here float. this, build and run. Output is 12.5.5 plus 6.7 is 12.2. Any doubt to anybody in this? Okay, so this is the use of classes. Is this the use of classes? Yes, can I know who is writing this and who is having doubt so that I can clear your doubt? Yes, who is writing this? Yes. Okay, this was like, in this case, the object was having single data type, right? That means your num1 and num2 were of same data type. Now let's suppose if my num1 is of 5 and num2 is of 6.7. Num1 is of 5 and num2 is 6.7, right? And I'm writing here integer. In this case, what will be the output? Num1 is 5, num2 is 6.7, and the object data type is integer. So what will be the output in this case? Let's see here. Output is 11. So what is happening? 6.7 is being converted into 6.7 is converted into 6 and then added with 5. So in this case, if my both the numbers are of different data type, what will I do? I can simply write here int comma float. Okay, int comma float. Save it, build. Oh, sorry, it's running. Build and run. Now, what is the problem here? If I write int comma float, I am saying yes. I am calling the class. My object is calling class T, calling template. See, Aniket, see here. My D object is calling class A. Yes, but class A is a template which is having how many data types? Only one data type, T. Yes. So what will I do? I'll write here T1 comma class T T2. Save it and build and run. T does not name a type. Okay, I'm writing here T1, right? So it's T1 and this is of T2. You can see the output is 11.7. 5 and 6.7 is 11.7. Is it clear? Is it clear to all? Yes. So this is called as your class template. The previous example which we done was a function template. I hope it's clear to all. Now let's do one more example. Do you want me to do one more example? Little bit complex example. Let's do one more example. Okay. I'll be just removing this class and this main also. Wrap it. Okay. Now, what I do, I want to create an array. My motive is to create an array. Right? My motive is to create an array, and the size of the array will be defined by the user dynamically. I want to create an array. The size of the array will be defined by the user dynamically. Okay. And after declaring the size, what I will do, I will insert element into array and then display element also. Okay. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this example? What I will do, I have to create an array. The size of the array will be defined by user dynamically. Is the task of user? After defining the size, user will insert the element, and then after inserting element, he has to display the element. So for this, I'm going to create a class. Okay, let's do it. So I say template class T1, right? I say int size. See, size will always be integer, it cannot be float. Okay, so int size is mine. I say create a class A. In the class, I create an array of template T, and the size of the array. This is the definition of the array. What is the definition of the array? Array, and the size of the array is defined by from this template. Any doubt on this? Okay. So this is the array declaration. The array is created, and obviously the size of the array is also defined. I say void insert, right? I use a function for that, member function, insert function, to insert the elements. Int I take a variable int I. Now I run a loop for int j for int j equals to 0, j less than size. You know that index always starts from 0 and it is 1 less than size. So the loop will run from 0 to 1 less than size, 1 number less than size. Right? This is my loop. What is the task of loop? At array index value j, insert I and I plus plus. Right? This is void function, insert function. Then I create a display function. Void display. Right? And in this again I run the loop. Same loop I'll copy here. For int j is equals to 0, j is less than size, j plus plus. What I have to do? I have to see out array of, let's take a variable here, array of j. And this is my display function inside main. What I do? I create an object of A. How I create? I say int y. Okay, and the object name is obj. Okay, then I say obj dot insert, right, obj dot display. Did you understood the code of the same? See, if anybody is having any doubt in the code, they can ask me. Or should I explain you line by line? Okay. Okay, sure, Mukesh. I'll explain. Okay. So, first of all, let me clear the screen. Right. Now, let's start the program understanding. See, first of all, my task is to create an array. So, for this, I create a class template. Right. Template class T1. T1 is the name of the template, data type. So classes, depending upon the T1, whatever I take, we normally have used here X, Y in the previous example. So I'm taking it here T1. Okay. Or let's not take it here T1, it is T. Okay. So class template is T. T is actually a data type. Okay. Then I say the size, I've taken a variable size in which I'm going to enter the size. The user is going to enter the size. So the definition of the template is like this. Class T int size. Class T is basically the data type of the template and size is the size entered by the user. The size is always in the form of integer. Okay, right? Then I say my class begins class A. Now in the class A, I'm creating one array. Name of the array is ARR. Array is the name of this array. You can write here any array name. The size of the array is what I'm getting from the template. Size is same as size. From here, this template definition, I'll get the size of the array, right? How I will get the size of the array from the template definition? From this. From this, because this class is referring template. Okay. Second, the data type of array will be of which type? It will be of T type. Now, what is T? T is the data type defined by the user, whether it is int, float, etc. Okay. Then I say void insert. Insert is used to insert the data, right? I say int I, let's take here equals to 1. Int I equals to 1. Okay. So the initial value of I is 1. I say int j is equals to 0. You know that your index starts from 0. So at 0th position, what I have to insert? Array of j, that is array of 0, that is at index 0, insert I. So what is the value of I? I is 1. So what will happen? 1 will get inserted here. Okay. And the value of I will be incremented. So I becomes here 2. Right. Again, my loop goes back towards for. Right. I increment the value of j. Now j becomes 1. Earlier it was 0. So j becomes 1. I say at array 1, that is at index 1, put the value of I. So what is the value of I? I is 2. So what will do? 2 will get inserted here. Okay. And the value of I will be incremented by 1. So it will become 3 here. Okay. Again I go back. I say for increment the value of j. So j becomes 2. For j less than size, it's true. Array of j, that is at index 2. At index 2 is equals to I. Index 2, at index 2, what I have to do? I have to place the value of I. So what is the value of I? I is 3 here. I is 3 here. Okay. And then I increment the value of I again. So forth. Did you understood this? So what are we inserting? We are inserting 1 to any number, 1 to n inside array. Did you understood this code? Everybody please. Yes. Now again, this is for inserting. Next is for displaying. So for displaying, I say for int j is equals to this starting from 0th index to less than size, that is less than n minus 1. What you need to print? You need to print array of j. So you need to print array of 0 first of all. Then you need to print array of 1. Then you need to print array of 2 and so on. Did you understood this now? Everybody please display. Okay. Now next what we are doing is we are actually creating the main function. We are creating the main function. So what we are doing in main function, see please here. I say I'm creating a object. The class name is A. You can see the class name is A, right? So the object belongs to which class? A, right? Now I define the template. What is the name of the template? See, description of template is this. Description of template is, let me just grab this. Description of template is this. Class T int size. So what I'm writing here? Int 5. So class T means integer and 5 means type of array. So what is the array created? Array is created with having how many elements? It will be having 5 elements starting from 0 to 4 index. Okay. So who is giving the input? Size input. User is giving input dynamically, right? At the it's not dynamically, it's statically, but during the main function. Okay, during the main function. Any doubt to anybody? Then I say obj is the name of the object, obj dot insert and obj dot display. So this is my code. I need to just put semicolon here. Semicolon here. Done it. You can see array is created having value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your input given by the user. Now let's suppose I want to insert my own value. Now how will I do that? I want to insert my own values. Anybody having any doubt? Any answer? How can I do that? I want this is see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What we are doing is we are inserting values y is equals to 1 and I'm incrementing the values of plus plus. So what is happening? Values from 1 to 5 are inserting. But let's suppose I want to insert here in the array. I want to insert. I want to insert 7, 21, 42, 3 and 5. How can I do this? How can I give my dynamic input? What do you think? Yes. So how will my function will look like? Aniket, what do you think? How will my function look like? Anybody else who can give me the answer? I can do like this. Five, five, five. Yes. See, if you can see it clearly, I have somewhat done it, but there's one basic error. What you can see, what to think, what will be the error? J is equals to. I've done the same. Aniket, no. Then what will be the answer? Yes, please. I expect the answer from everybody. I hope everybody is learning the session, so everybody should answer. Size is already there. Size is already there, na? 5. Yes. Everybody, please take the screenshot of the program, and I expect the answer from you now. It is showing me, the output is shown to me is 5. The output shown to me is 5. But I want the output as 4, 21, 42, 3 and 5. So what is happening here, everybody? See, it is only inserting, it is only taking the last object, obj.insert 8, and inserting the value 8 every time. See, you can see here, It is inserting 8 here every time. It is ignoring this 4, 21, 42, 3. Yes or no? We need to take the value of 5 now because we are getting an array of size 5. So this is the first, this is size. 5 is size. This has nothing, no role to play with input array. I am saying obj.insert 4. So if I am inserting this data, insert 4, right? What is happening? It is going to this data. It is going to this data, inserting 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. How many times? How many times? 5 times, right? Okay. Secondly, I ran the second 21. It goes to the same function. Same array is created. It overwrites 4 with what value? 21, 21, 21, 21, and 21. Right? After this obj.insert 21, which statement is running? Obj.insert 42. So 42 goes back to same function. It overwrites 21 with 42. So it is showing me the last index value. I will get now it is your task. This is your task which I am giving to you, that you have to get me the correct value in the same function. You need to apply your logic, you need to apply your mind and find out what will be the logic behind this array so that I can pass multiple values. Okay? Will you do it, everyone? Yes, will you all do it? Okay, so I'll be asking you the same tomorrow, right? Now let's go. No, Aniket, we cannot call it separately. You cannot call it separately. If you print here display, it will print you an array 4 times. Of array of 4, array containing 4 elements 5 times. If you write here display after 21, it will give you array containing 21 as an element by printing 5 times. Okay, so this is not going to work. Display separately. Some logic is going to be applied over here. You need to work on this function. I'm giving you a hint. Okay, so at the since we have already done array, we have already done classes, we have already done function. I expect you to change it more. Okay, now with this I come up to the end of templates. Now let's do the last topic, which is called as exception handling. Exception handling in C++. Right, now come to the exception handling topic. I hope everybody knows what is exception handling. Do I have to explain you, or I should go to the practical aspect? So exception handling is used to handle runtime errors, basically, right? We perform exception handling so that normal flow of the function can be maintained even after runtime errors. Okay. What is exception? Exception is a error. Exception is an error. Now, see, it is a runtime error which can be handled. If we don't handle the exception, it prints exception message and terminates the program. See, if I do not perform the exception handling, what will happen? My program will terminate as soon as it encounters an error. Okay. So what I want that my function should, my program should handle the exception. It should handle the errors. Okay. And do not stop my program at the same time. It should begin with the normal execution of the program. Okay. Advantage, what is advantage? It maintains the normal flow of the application. In such case, the rest of the code is executed even after exception. So even if the error occurs at any point of the code, Let's suppose error occurs at this third line. What it will do? It will go to the other exception handling block, and the rest of the program keeps on executing. So the rest of the code is executed even after exception occurs. Exception means errors. Okay, I hope everybody knows what is exception handling. Do I have to explain in a deep? Yes, please. Please answer on the chat window. So Aniket, you know it, right? Exception handling, or I have to explain? I'll explain you in the form of program. Theoretically, I think you know it. Theoretically, you know it, right? Okay. So let's do in the form of program. Now, this is some exceptions, right? These are the basically some of the messages which are defined in an exception class. We have an exception class in our program, C++. That this exception class has some inbuilt messages, exceptions. They are called as bad allocation, bad cast, bad type ID, bad exception, logic failure, runtime error. These are some inbuilt messages, right? A runtime error, whenever any runtime error comes, so we get these kind of messages: overflow error, range error, underflow error. For example, I am having an array, okay, and I am inserting how many elements I can insert. Index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many elements I can insert? I can insert 5 elements. Yes, but if I try to insert 6th element. If I try to insert 6th element, so what will be the message? I'll get overflow error. Is it clear? Your array is already filled. It is overflowing. So I cannot insert the 6th element. Okay, this kind of errors are like printed by the C++ exception class. They are inbuilt exceptions in our C++ class. Right. Now let's see some program. So actually these are the exceptions which are there. Exception, it is an exception and parent class of all standard C++ exceptions. Logic failure, it is an exception that can be detected by reading a code. Runtime error, it is an exception that cannot be detected by reading a code. Bad exception, it is used to handle the unexpected exceptions in C++ program, right? Bad casting, when we perform casting integer to float or float to integer, then this kind of exception may occur, right? Now let's see some program. Basically, there are 3 keywords which we use in exception handling. That is try, catch, and throw. Try, catch, and throw. Okay. Let's do one program which is not handling exception. I repeat, in which there is no exception handling. I'm just writing the program. Since I've copied it, it is giving me space std, right? I say there's a function load division. It is used to divide 2 numbers x and y. The function is return x by y. Then I say int mean, int I is equals to 50, int j is equals to 0, float j is equals to 0, right? A is equals to division I comma j, My program. Now in this program, I'm not handling any exception. I'm not handling any error. I'm just creating a simple program, right? I wanted to let you know that what is the use of exception handling. So this is my program. In this case, I'm having two numbers I and j. I'm dividing the number I with j, right? So 50 is divided by 0, right? And the value, the data, what it is going to return, it will be saved in the k. And inside k, I'm calling which function? Division function. Okay, I hope you are clear with this program. There's nothing to be explained in this in the course. So I run, build and run. So what is the exception here? Okay, it is no, not exception. It is not clear in this code. Okay, there's something. There's something in other error. Right, and then I just happens when we copy the code. It says 15. Just remove it and write it by myself because this tray is like there's some inbuilt space which my system is encountering. Yes, yes, so Ganesh, I'm here. I'm just typing the code, no worries. I have to finish this topic and only then I'll be leaving the session. Right? Tomorrow I have to begin the project itself. A is equals to division of I comma j out. Okay. C out was not clear. So you can see process returned minus 107341,676. Right? This is an error. This is an error. And I do not know what is this error. This is just an error number. Right? This is just an error number. I do not know what is this error number. Right? So what I have to do now, my motive is to handle this error. Now, logically if I think of, can I divide 50 by 0? Can I divide 50 by 0? Obviously, I cannot divide 50 by 0 because 50 by 0 is going to return me what value? Anybody who can answer? It's infinite, right? So this logic division cannot be done. This is logically wrong, right? So this is the error which I'm getting. It's minus 10374. And as a normal user, I do not know what is an error. So what is my motive is to handle or return a proper solution with this error. When I look into the output window, I should come to know that yes, this is the error. Or any person who doesn't know what is this error number means should come to know that what mistake is committing in the program. So that is called as error handling or exception handling. Right? Now, how we can do that? We can use the concept called as try and catch. Okay, try block is used to place the code that may occur exception, or I can say in the try block we put that code in which error can come, and in the catch block we use the exception handling. Inside catch we perform the exception handling. We write the code, or we write the syntaxes, or we write the error statements. Okay, now let's do the same program with some try catch block. Okay, so this was float division in xy, right? Then I say, see, if I know if my y is equals to 0, that is my divisor is equals to 0, then what I have to do? Throw attempted to divide by 0. So this is the message which I have to throw. Okay, which I have to throw. If my divisor will be 0, what will I do? I will throw an message that there's an attempt to divide by 0. But okay, but if this y is not equal to 0. What it will do? It will return x and y. So let's do it. Int main 25. Let's suppose take it as 30. I is 30. J is 0. Float k is equals to 0. Initially my question is 0. Right? K is equals to division of. Now you know that your division code may. Yes, it's a custom exception. It's a custom exception. And again, your division, this calling this function k is equals to division ij may cause an error. So what I will do, I will write this code inside try block. I'll write this code in the try block. So that code which can run lead to error is always written in the try block. Okay. So I say cout now after try I have to write catch const char tell you what is it. Okay. Then I say okay. Please look into the output. Output say so. Let's see how the program is working. I'm taken a variable int I is equals to 30 and j is equals to 0. Right? I am passing I and j to division function. So what is x? X is 30. X is 30 here and y is 0. Okay. So y is 0 here. Okay. Now I say what I have to do. I say I have to perform the division of I and j, or indirectly I can say I have to perform the division of x and y. So I say I have to call which function? Division function, right? Now I know that division of I and j can lead to error because it may be possible that value of j is 0. So what will I do? I will call this division function inside try catch. If there will be error, what will happen? Of connection. Division I comma j, right? Now from here to division state, division, right? Right? Now here it says, if y is equals to 0, if y is equals to 0, is my statement x is, you know that x is 30, what is y? Y is 0, y is 0. If y is equals to 0, what I have to do? I have to throw a message. Message is attempted to divide by 0. Now this throw message thrown by the statement will be catched by whom? It will be catched by this catch block. Is it clear to all? It will be catched by catch block, right? And if let's suppose y is not 0, what will happen? I'll say this if will not be executed and it will be returning x divided by y. Now since it is y is 0, what will happen? The control goes to this catch block. Now what is the definition of catch block? Catch block says catch constant. Since this is a constant message, nobody can change it, so I've taken it as constant. The message is of which type? Character, and it's a pointer. This message is pointing to whom? It is pointing to this message. So this is a pointer, character pointer, right? And the pointer is E. Pointer is E. Did you understood this? Yes or no, please? Then I say C error. See, we do not write C out. Yeah. We write C error. It's a special way to print the messages thrown by try block, right? And this function C error object is defined into which function? Exception function, exception class. It's an inbuilt function, right? So C error, what I have to print? I have to print E. So what is E? The value of E is attempted to divide by 0. Is it clear to all? Anybody having doubt in this? So this is called as try catch block. Use of try and catch block, right? Now let's come to the other example. This was a custom exception. This is like inbuilt exception. If I want to create my user defined exception, I can also do that. How can I do that? See here. I've already have a program for this. If I want to define my user defined exception, I have to include a header file called as exception. Okay. I'm saying using namespace std class my exception colon public exception. So this is my exception class which I am creating from myself, and it is inheriting which exception class? It is inheriting in inbuilt exception class. So this is inbuilt, and my class is inheriting inbuilt exception class. Okay. So in this exception, I'm writing public. I'm getting one character, const character. The name of the character is what? It's a function, what, and it uses which function? Throw function. So I will say return attempted to divide by 0. You can see everything is written here. Okay, what is this? Let me just tell you. This return attempted by 0 is defined inside which function? Throw function. Okay, then I say int main, int x comma y. Every code is written inside try block, int x comma y. Cout enter two numbers x and y. If y is equals to 0, what will I do? I will say go to my exception z. Z is the object of which type? Class type? My exception. So here I'll go to this exception class, right? And what will I do? I will point to this pointer, const char what pointer, right? I say throw z. So what will I throw? I throw this message, attempted to divide by 0. Now this, I will only go to my exception class if my y is equals to 0. But in case my y is not equals to 0, in that case what will happen? X divided by y will be done. Division of x and y will be done. Okay. And this whole task of try will be caught by whom? It will be caught by catch block. So I'm creating a function catch in which I'm calling the input argument as exception ampersand e, and then I say e dot what? E dot what? So what is e dot what? E dot what is a member function inside the class my exception. This is how you can use your own exception. You can create your own exception also. So any doubt to anybody? We will be using exceptions in our project also. Any doubt to anybody? So I request you all that please today it's a homework for you that you all have to solve or look into the program of exception handling by your own. Okay, and come up with a new concept. You all need to look up with the program of exception handling today itself. Okay, because this is how we can practice more and learn more. Aniket, you can come up with any exception. Let's suppose if a user, I am saying I'm getting a function add, right? And the input argument to this function is of integer type, right? This is a task. The input argument to this function is of integer type. Now, if user says add 4.5 and 7.5, right? In that case, what you need to do, you need to throw an exception that input arguments are of wrong data type. Can you do this? Can you all do this? Should I explain you again the problem statement? I'm saying I'm having a function add which take input arguments as integer, right? But when the user pass note values 4.5 and 7.5, then your program should throw an exception that input arguments are of wrong data type. This is your task. Okay? Okay. So this was the last topic of your. Yes, Aniket, you just have to print that. So exception handling was the last topic of your C++ training session. Now from tomorrow, we will be starting with the project, right? And yes, Aniket, you can print that. So from tomorrow, we'll be starting with the project, okay? And see, it's not compulsory that you need to show the project which I am doing or I am giving. You can come up with your own projects also, right? So it will be better if you come up with your own project. And if you have any doubt in your project or coding, you can just share your message on the WhatsApp group, or you can share it on the chat window privately. I'll be helping you out with that. Okay. So with this, I end up my today's topic. Thank you for your cooperation. Have a good day and good night.